Well, let's just see here. What's gonna say? You're welcome. Charlie Greer podcast again today. We're talking about being a singer in a band, the frontman, the lead vocalist. So I know a little bit about that. I was in bands, I was singers. My solo, when I was a solo, I was playing guitar and singing. It's kind of the same. But if you're I'm going to give you a few tips on singing, and also just more importantly, just dealing with the crowd, knowing how to command an audience, to have them in the palm of your hand. So there's certain things, the do's and don'ts, if you will. One of them, and this, I had to learn this the hard way. One of them is like, don't ask questions. First of all, don't say a lot. Don't be out there, okay, well, say I'm a cankle and complaining and talking about, no. So for instance, a question, like you'll hear lead singer, how y'all doing out there tonight? Question mark. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you get a lull, like people don't react. No. Say more like, we're feeling good tonight. Don't ask too many questions. Again, like, think about it. It's like, you might as well be going, who out there has cankles? Question mark. How many people like gluten-free products? Come on. Don't ask certain things. You sound like then you're putting the power in the, no. They want to see like a Superman, a unhuman, lead singer, David Lee Roth, don't ask questions. Command, say things. Like, this is a great night! Exclamation point. We're having a great time tonight! Exclamation point. No question marks, man. Who wants to hear another song? Question mark, and then you hear, free bird. No. Have a little confidence. Again, and don't, keep in mind, man, I would always think like they need me more than I need them, meaning I'm not looking for approval, attention from a crowd. A crowd, even the most unsophisticated people or crowd, whatever. I say that as because they're drinking, man, they're having a good time. They're not trying to be this way. They want to see somebody confident, cool, calm, and collective, not too cocky and rude. Just they want to see. Okay, a lot of them are too insecure or afraid or don't know how to go around being in a band. So you got to use your peacock a bit without, But it's what you say. A lot of times I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't introduce the songs. I wouldn't, they know what the song, come on. To the point where I wouldn't even say a word in a gig. And the band would be like, dude, you didn't say anything. I was, yeah, well, the band, they love me. I mean, we killed. Then off stage, people treat me with this kind of certain respect. Not talking about like, oh, well, see, I worked today and then, we had loaded. No. Don't ask any questions. You having a good time or what? Question mark. No. Again, if the crowd's popping off, but man, they'll get, you can't, first two questions might be, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, what the fuck you asking me? You should be telling me. Think about it. Another thing I see people doing, pacing, walking around too much. What are you doing, man? That's a sign of insecurity. You're pacing. I watched this clip of like Whitesnake the other day. Like it referred me on my YouTube and, Whitesnake, last tour, and David Cup pacing like what are you doing? And he's he's 70, or 75, whatever he is. Why are you walking around? That's an insecurity, man. Just stand there. Just do, do your thing. Don't be pacing. Again, you can do but don't pace. Fast like, and people are like, whoa, excuse me. No. Warm up before you go on stage. Another thing is the warm up. You got to have a warm up, man. Something. Just warm up. Don't push it too hard. Again, it's like warming up a car. You start it and kind of just let it go, just let it do its thing for a few minutes. So you're not like, no. You want to do like 1, 2, 3. Just warm your vocals up. Stretch. Stretch. Oh, I worked out at the gym this morning. Who cares? You got to stretch again. You got to be loose up there. Do a little stretching thing. My vocal and stretch took like 5 minutes. Not even that. Then everybody saw me doing it. Like, what are you doing? I'll do. Hey, show me. Of course I did. Yeah, the warm up. Also, chloroseptic spray. It's a sore throat spray. You don't want to be addicted to it. I knew guys that use it every gig now, but there might be some gigs where you need to get through. So you need a little bit of chloroseptic if you're sick. But there's a steroid in it, man. You don't want to be using it too much. You don't want to go to the well too much, but it's good to have in your bag, you know. Another thing, stay away from like milk, cheeses, ice cream before you go on stage. Don't talk too much if you're doing a lot of gigs. You know, don't try to, you know, you'll wear your shit out. Don't do you know. Don't be snorting any kind of whatever the hell. That's going to mess up your vocal, man. It's going to, yeah, do a number. But yeah, I had to learn these things from just being a singer in a band. Again, I became a singer because I was a bass player in my first car. I was like 15. And we're doing like, don't tell me you love me. You know, just covers, Mr. Crowd. Mr. Crowd. Our singer wouldn't show up. So I was playing bass and they're like, hey, who can sing but Charlie, you can sing. I started singing during rehearsal. Like, damn, you're better than the singer. You know? I was playing bass and I just learned to play bass. So when that band split up, because everybody formed other bands, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a lead singer. So I had to wait. It took me a while to find it. And by then I'd already naturally talk to people, trying. A lot of times people don't talk when you're young like that. And I grew up around, and I learned to sing in church. I grew up like an hour outside of Nashville, a small town in Tennessee. So there was a lot of people that weren't necessarily musicians, but they could pick and they, you know, play the piano in church and sing. And so I learned to sing like a bird. And yeah, you've got to have your confidence. I used to do this thing where I'd look right above people's heads, like not in their eyes. Because sometimes it's weird. Like there'll be a person in the crowd, you lock eyes with them, it's just kind of like, woo, you know. Keep it, I know that sounds kind of fake, but keep it kind of, you know, little mystery about yourself. Like don't, again, sometimes, you know, when I was younger and I had a few drinks or whatever, I might say, and I just crack jokes on stage and hey, you might just be good at it. Maybe some people can ask all these questions about but you're trying to rile people up. I've learned that you don't ask questions. You don't say, again, you don't want to be, how do we sound tonight? No, boo. You don't want, no. You're doing good. People want to, you know, that's just, people are people. And it is nerve wracking. I've actually found out it's easier with a bigger crowd than with a smaller crowd. Like sound checks, I hated sound checks. There's like 10 people in the club and they're all like these jaded bouncers and roadies and bar backs and this, that, and it's so-and-so was here last week. They're a lot better. And, you know, I hated doing them. And at the sound check, I'd only do like a song. I didn't want to blow myself out because we'd sound check at like 5 and not go on till like 11 midnight. I don't want to be plowing through our set. No, get the levels and then I'll come and do a song and that's it. If you're lucky enough to get a sound check, a lot of times we wouldn't get sound check. When we were headlining, we would get, and we'd let other bands sound check. A lot of times you don't even get a sound check. You just get thrown out there and hey, I played big gigs like outdoor and they don't give you a sound check and you're on some weird wireless mic you've never used. And, you know, you have to be able to command the crowd. You have to, again, they're looking for approval from you, believe it or not. They're looking for someone to be inspired by, you know. So you got a little peacocking to do. Not peacock, but you know, you don't want to be your normal self on stage. Again, it's kind of like a character. You don't want to be fake, but you want to be cool, if that's even a thing nowadays. You want to be able to, yeah, you know, people are, come on. I used to never introduce the band. I mean, I just didn't. Okay, no. No. And even when I did, like, say when I was solo, I wouldn't say, "Hey, I'm Charlie Greer." I would just say Charlie Greer, like it was a band or something, like a name. Because I would, again, I got taught by the crowd, like, "Hey, I'm Charlie Greer. Who are you?" Charlie Greer, hey, Charlie, little things you pick up on, like, "Hey, and some nights, man, I mean, the law of averages dictates certain things, and the odds you're going to be off. But then sometimes you're thinking, "Oh man, I can get this through," and blah blah blah. And people come up, "Man, you were great." They're not going to know. A lot of times, the crowd is. Say if you mess up, barrel through, don't react. People won't even know. Like we used to do that. The band would be, "Oh man, this that." It would go on for a week. And it's like, dude, people come up like, "We didn't even know. Why are you guys so upset? I've seen you guys 100 times. Couldn't even tell. It was so loud and everything. And I've drank like a 12-pack. They ain't gonna. The crowd is inebriated, man. They're kind of drunk, They're not going to pick up, and they're not musicians, most of them. That's another thing. A lot of people are going to see aren't musicians. They don't know. Come on, man. They don't know. So just barrel through. Don't look up, say, wait, stop, starting. Nuh-uh. Just keep on going. Laugh it off, even. That's another thing that I've done if something happens. Because I've gotten my arm broke on stage. I got hit with a empty beer pitcher that knocked me out for a bit. The band was still going. I mean, I woke up on the stage and I guess I was concussed because I looked up like, why is everybody in my bedroom? I forgot that I was in, and then my hearing kicked in. I was like, what? And they got me. I finished the gig. I forgot what happened. I got hit with something that busted my teeth, and I had raw nerves from the time I breathed in. It hurt, but I finished the gig. And then when I broke my arm, I did gigs with the cast. And we didn't let it be known. Again, we pulled back a bit. I'm a big Kiss fan. So it's like, nobody wants to know that they're in a Santa Claus or whatever. Hey, just pull back a bit. Why did Charlie break his arm? And I remember we did like an interview with a fanzine out of like Peoria, Illinois or something. And we were on the cover and they did an interview. And it was still like, you want to play into this. We were just a local regional band doing that. And then when we split up at the end, and I'm talking about my band Love Engineer, we, two guys had quit the band, basically. It was just me and the guitarist at that time. And we didn't want to tell anybody. We were supposed to be recording an album. And we technically were recording. But we did another. Again, they took us to dinner. They took us to like a bar in downtown Champaign that served food, people there or whatever. And we did an interview with them for the fanzine. And they were tape recording it. And we were like, we're kind of lying. Like, yeah, it's all great. And you don't want to be nobody knew. We were keeping this behind the scenes. Like, well, maybe they'll come back. Maybe we'll get some more people. It literally was at the height of our, band existence. That happened a few times where, unfortunately, when you're dealing with other people, even people in your band, I don't know if it's self-sabotage, whatever, there's been important, we'd get to a certain peak and then somebody quit the band or somebody, it was just like, huh? Like, again, I was in my early 20s. I didn't, understand a lot of this stuff. We'd get another drum or whatever was going on. But I'm sure that happens to other bands. I mean, come on. Out of the blue sometimes. Like, where are they? And well, you're the last to find out that you don't have a whatever in the band. And that's why we had people, a contingency plan. Like, hey, the roadie or this guy or whoever. And we've done, especially at sound checks. A lot of people wouldn't. So we did, get up there. Remember we had this guy, I shouldn't name names, but I won't, but he's a drum monster. And he was our tech. He was kind of helping out behind the scenes. He was a cool guy. And he would do sound check. And we were like, what? We need you. We've never sounded that. Oh, no, I'm older now. I got a full-time job. And so we never could get him in the band. But I remember that first sound check, like, why are we dealing with this other? Again, it's all bros. It ain't like I was mad. I mean, I got, but it's frustrating when you're trying to rock the world and people, even in the band, are, no, we can't. It's, huh? We've worked this hard. And people lose interest. I mean, when we first started, this is my band Love Engineer, we were around from like 91 to 94, maybe 95. We were around that long. And In the beginning, it was just like, yeah, fun. We're doing all this stuff. So we'd have a radio interview, some town in Illinois. We're in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. We would drive all together in the van, 4 of us, by like 94, and we were doing a lot better. Nobody would, they lost interest in doing interviews. I would drive to these little towns. I'd grab my friends and like, let's go. They're going to give us free beer. And I'd go, hey, and be interviewed in these little radio stations with like a tower, But we were selling CDs. We had to promote the gig, come on. And I've seen people, even in my band in Los Angeles too, my solo band, within 7 months, they're just like, yeah, what happened to that sweet dude I knew? And in reality, they're coattail riding. They're using me as a springboard. It's like, dude, if I'm not acting that way, huh? And sometimes you can get ahead being that kind of overbearing, that, I'm not going to. And maybe it hurt me. Maybe it was because I didn't want to. Again, I like to keep my circle small. I would get invited to part after, hey, we're having a part. Maybe in the beginning I would, when I was in La Mata, my first in like the late 90s in Hollywood. But the time I got solo, I would have my own party. Now you can come to me. We're having a little, barbecue, beer, bat, whatever. Just because I didn't want to be driving here and there, I got loadout. I don't want to leave my stuff. We played a Halloween gig in Riverside, my solo band. It's like 2007, maybe 2008. And Riverside's like a drive outside of LA, but it's one of my favorite places to play. People were like desperate for rock and roll. We played this huge, it was packed. It was like an all ages club. So like, look, you can't, we served, soda pop. And, so we could drink on stage though. Never, had a hiding cup, whatever. It's Halloween. We're gonna have a drink. It was packed. Afterward, the parking lot was packed. All this, and you're meeting people, and this is when not Facebook, MySpace, this, that, okay, whatever. And we had loaded out, and we drove away in about like 20 minutes. I go, my God, I forgot my guitar. I had this like expensive Les Paul. Matter of fact, it was the Love Engineer Les Paul, like this Sunburst Les Paul. I'd had it all those years. Turn around. What? Turn around. It's gone. Boy, we got to see. Drove back to Riverside, pull in the parking lot, and it was there. It was sitting against the wall. I couldn't believe like somebody didn't steal it. It's like a $2,000 or more guitar. Yeah, thank you. I mean, you're going to make a mistake, I've also played in Hollywood clubs where they would, the kitchen, they weren't using the kitchen. So that was like the backstage for the bands. And there's just like 3 band, and each grabs a little area, and we're doing our thing, tuning up or whatever, changing club. What are you going to do? In the back, there's a back door in the alley where people park, whatever. And I'd see these bands, and I'm like, hey, man, whose gear's out there? Like, you don't want to be leaving it out in the alley, and like, it's West Hollywood, come on. Like, that's going to be, oh, no, it's cool. We're going to, Then we go on, play later on. Like, dude, someone stole our gear. Did you have anything to do with it? I was the one that warned you guys, like, keep your gear. Like, after a gig, it's not even safe in your car, man. Either you're going to take it and go, or I used to have my guitar kit, keep it with me. Like be on the patio of some club and, having a drink. And then when I go to the bathroom, grab my guitar. I didn't even trust anybody I've had shit stolen. In Love Engineer, our band house we were robbed. They stole our Fostex tape machine 8-track. They stole our master to everything. And it turned out to be a friend. Someone who we'd helped out, his band, and I didn't find out for a year. I moved to St. Louis, and he called me up, and I guess he was going through the steps, like the team was cleaning up, which is cool, And then he admitted I couldn't believe it because I was friends with this guy back in the day, and I was like, well, what? Well, it's okay that you confess, but what about payback? Like, what are you gonna? Nah, he hung up on me, so I knew he wasn't there yet. I haven't heard from him since. That was like 30 years ago. But yeah, they waited till we were on stage. We were played in town, and we got robbed by friends. That's going to happen. A lot of gear, man. A lot of cool shit. Basically everything. And that was the strange thing. That was the kind of the demise of the band, because everybody's all suspected. Who had it? We didn't know. So maybe it's just me. Maybe some of these bands, it does happen to. They don't want to talk about it. But you got to be and as a lead singer, you're kind of like the head pirate. You're the one that You're the face of the band. You don't want to be too insecure. You don't go out there. Yeah, you don't want to be like a frat boy, stupid. But you do want to be able to keep your again. Don't say much. Don't just let the music do the talking, man. Actions speak louder than words. They want to see a band. They don't want to hear about, hey, we're in so. No, no, no. Just get out there and rock. And again, people have to learn. I guarantee you, and don't turn your back to the crowd. Say things, but again, don't form them in questions. Don't or act like people will know without even knowing subconscious. They'll know that insecurity. The crowds know. I'm sure comedians probably have to deal with this all the time. I've never done stand up, but I've dated comedians and had friends who are comedians. It's brutal. My friend, I think that's one of the hardest things to do. Crowds will just immediately get, heckle. And that's comedians don't get a bad rap. I mean, the hard part's probably making it look easy, but commanding that crowd, you kind of be like, look, I don't need anything from you. I'm doing my own thing, and not be mean about it. Just like, hey, I'm not looking for approval. And you've seen these bands. Oh, what? See, no, it's gonna no. Even like bigger bands that are kind of getting, on with they don't do that. People want to see somebody that's snap, bam, precise, centered, certain. Let's go. That's what they want to. That's what they want to be inspired. They want to see a singer. And that doesn't just mean jumping around. Again, I would stand a lot. I would shake my head. I had long hair at the time. I would do my thing. And again, you're going to get injured if you're doing like hundreds of gigs over the years. You're going to, that's going to happen. Somebody's going to throw something. I used to keep I'd use the mic stand and I'd take the microphone and I'd wrap the part of the microphone's cable around my left hand. So I could be like, and the big crowd, somebody grabs a hold and gets pulled right into the crowd. That's why I took out my ear. I used to have pierced ears. No, I got thrown. And they ripped my ear. They didn't rip them out, but man, they were all, ripped up and got infected. And my necklace, I used to wear necklaces, gone, just ripped. Maybe that's just me, but I would just go on with a t-shirt. I didn't have anything, no braid, no rings, no, because I'd had things get hung and, no. Nope. Or wearing hats that you hit with the microphone looking all stupid, like cowboy hats are the worst if you're, this is gonna happen. Barrel through, get through it, throw it into the crowd, do what you got to do. Again, don't say too much. Be mysterious. And stage raps, I mean, back in the day, people can have stage raps and they're funny, Again, don't ask them, how many people like vodka? Woo! That's khaki old stage. A lot of things I would say, and it's important, and this will help you bond with the club owner, the bartender, everything, and the crowd is, hey, make sure that you're tipping the bartenders and waitresses. I would say that like 2 or 3 times in a gig. And they're, thank you. The crowd would like, oh, that was so cool. I just learned to do that. And we would sell more booze. Some people in these other bands, like these shoegazers, kind of holier than thou rich kids, are like, I can't believe you say. Who gives a fuck what you say? You guys can't draw fucking flies with shit. You got the same 70 hipsters that you're, And also, you should know all your fans. Then you don't got a fan base. If you know all of there's 70 of it, then that ain't gonna make, come on. You got to have people come, hey, I was that year, okay, and meet them and be nice and take pictures and meet their kids. And I would meet fans and it would blow my mind. I remember this one guy, big biker. I think we're in Indiana or something. And I had one of our roadies with us and we were walking outside going back into the venue. And here comes these bikers. And there was this big biker. These are real bikers. You Charlie Greer? And I thought, oh my God. I looked at them, I said, maybe. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm your biggest fan. And he had made me a mixtape. Back then it was cassettes. And you could have like a boombox with 2 tape. and you'd listen, or dub song. He made me a mixtape with all the art and all that stuff. And he made me a doll, like some kind of, it looked nothing like me, but I was like, wow, that's a yeah, well, I wish I still had this doll. I'm sure his girlfriend or something, I don't know, but hey, I made you a doll. Awesome. Like, I got a doll somewhere. I might have that. Well, he was a big white beard, and like scary look, patched in like a real. So you never know about your fans. I didn't know who he was. I mean, I was they were in another, I think we were in Terre Haute, Indiana or somewhere. And we were playing it like again, I think we were in Indiana. We're playing like a fair. And we were like in a Budweiser tent. And we were going, we were a wild band. And I was saying, I cursed. And there was cursing in the mute, so there's these cops right in front come up to me, and I leaned down. They're like, hey man, we're gonna want to talk to you after you get on stage. They didn't say they're gonna arrest me or anything, but yeah, there's whatever the vagrants, I don't even know what they said. So I went to the band, I didn't make it obvious, but I talked to everybody like, look, I'm leaving the stage. These guys came, went over to one of our roadie guys, like, dude, just get me. I knew that my truck was parked right behind this. We're gonna walk off stage and get in my truck and going. I don't have time to load out. I don't want to be, and I did. And they didn't catch me, and they didn't, what are they going to do? What, are they going to arrest me for saying shit or whatever? But you never know. So you got to be prepared. Bring all this stuff, bottled water and chloroseptic and towels and baby wipes, man. You're going to need baby wipes because sometimes there's no shower to be found, and you don't want to be all itchy and baby wipes. Ask everybody. I mean, maybe if you're not at a local gig, but if you're at a local gig, you can get help, but you're going to want to have some baby wipes. Believe me. And yeah, hopefully you're all going to, again, I don't think many people will watch this, but they I'm kicking the reel here. I'm giving you information you're going to need. I said I was going to mention something about singing, but I'll get that to another time, Basically, you want to sing before the first line, and at the end, that's the simplest. But breathing, that's your gasoline. Breathe. And hang in there, man. Again, not everybody started out as Robert Plant. Robert Plant didn't start out as Robert Plant. David Lee Roth didn't start out. There was a little bit of a grace period. So don't be too hard on yourself, and have fun, and go out there and be in a band. Go out there and be a lead singer. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Be blessed. Cheers.